Winter has officially arrived and there's already been a few snowstorms. Pretty soon the snow will completely blanket the ground for a few months, so I wanted to get out one last time this year to collect some pine needles to weave on my pottery. I gathered the best needles that were layered on top. This amount should be enough to make at least a couple projects over the winter. I started heading back to the car and happened to notice this exposed reddish-brown dirt on the hillside that looked a lot like wild clay. I went out that day with the intention of only collecting pine needles, so finding clay along with it made me so happy. The first thing I did was clean the clay of any impurities so that it's nice and smooth for throwing on the wheel. I started making pottery with wild clay just a few months ago, and there's been such a learning curve to it. Every new clay I find has different properties that make it good or bad for making pots, and every clay fires at a different temperature, so it takes a lot of testing to find out if a clay is up to the quality that I'm looking for. It's a slow process for sure, but I'm slowly building a list of good spots that I can return to again and again. £6, 11.7 ounces. Now comes the moment of truth where we find out how the clay performs on the wheel. After a couple minutes of centering, I quickly discovered how amazing this clay really was. It might just be in my top 2 that I've found so far. It was a dream to throw with, and I was over the moon. Throwing on the wheel is by far my favorite part of the pottery making process. It has this way of forcing you into the present moment. When I sit here, all my thoughts just kind of melt away, and for a moment my mind is just quiet. I've spent the past week firing test tiles while my vase dries. Now that I know what temperature to fire this wild clay, I can go ahead and put in my vase without worrying that it will melt into a puddle, because I have had that happen before, unfortunately. Even though I felt confident, there's always still a small chance, so I had a huge sigh of relief when I opened the kiln and saw that the pot was still perfectly intact and fired to this beautiful reddish-brown color. Now comes the time to add the finishing touches to my vase by weaving on the pine needles. I soak them in hot water to soften them up, and then they're ready to weave. Lately, I've been feeling the need to slow down and take the pressure off to constantly be productive. Life has been pretty fast-paced these last few months, so it's been really nice dialing things back and giving myself more time for projects like this. Alright guys, I'm officially done with my pot. I think it turned out so cute. I'm actually so proud of it. When I look at it, it makes me so happy. I can't believe that we started with some dirt on the ground and some pine needles just at the bottom of the tree and made it into this. It's pretty cool, the things that nature provides that we can turn into art. I find it so fascinating. Thank you for being here for my first YouTube video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.